I have not gotten, this is not from my dating life. This is like recently, which is, I said it already, receive the motherfucking data. Like about friendships too. Like, I just wish I could go back and be like, receive it.
What is it
you are
telling
being
you?
given all the information you need about this person. You are making it. I would always be like, oh, it's my fault, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm waiting to be. This idea of being waiting to be chosen, so antiquated. It makes me so angry when I think back to myself, that version of me. But it's like, receive the data. Like, the people that are meant to be in your lives are going to show up.
Yes.
They're not going to bail on you. They're not going to say they're going to call and not call. Like, that gives you information. We don't want to receive it because it's like, oh, then we have to like feel it.
Yeah.
And it's like, just they're putting it out there.
I'm calling it, your next book is going to be called Receive the Motherfucking Data.
Receive the motherfucking data, girl.
Welcome back to Making It with Jess Ekstrom, where we tell the real stories behind going for it. Today's guest is a speaker, a coach, and an Emmy-winning producer who spent 2 decades at the epicenter of pop culture. Lindsay Shookus rose through the ranks at Saturday Night Live, eventually becoming the head of the talent department and one of the most respected names in the entertainment industry. But she didn't just stay at the coolest job in the world forever. She made the gutsy decision to walk away and build something entirely her own. In this episode, we talk about what she learned from seeing fame up close, why she decided to start her own show with the community Women Working Fucking Hard, which I love that title, and the wobbly reality of shifting your identity after leaving a long-term career. We also dive into the powerful philosophy of receiving data in relationships and business, and why she believes the best way to support other women is to actually say their names in the room. So let's start at the beginning, with a move to New York City, no job, and the buffalo-bred work ethic that took her all the way to 30 Rockefeller Plaza. Let's start there. Talk to me about moving to New York City. What was like, did you have a big sparkly vision? Did you come here for a job? Where were you coming from?
So I went to college in Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill.
I didn't know that. So that's how you and Paige are a mutual friend. Okay, got it.
How we met.
Connecting the dots. Yeah.
So I went to Chapel Hill. Loved Chapel Hill. It was like such a great way for me to really like learn to be around people who are different than me. You know, there's a lot of people who were Southern. I was called a Yankee for the first time in my life, and I was like, well, I'm not a Yankee. I'm from Buffalo. That's basically like the Midwest or Canada. But after Chapel Hill, I just kind of knew I wanted to move back north, and I moved to New York without a job. I mean, I really it was August after I graduated, moved to New York without a job. And I had enough people from Chapel Hill who were moving that I was like, okay, this is an adventure. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that there were definitely things I knew I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I was always creative. I think I was moving to the city thinking like the dream was maybe to be in like public relations. I really thought I'd be good at like crisis communications, like dealing with hard things. When like, you know, like when something bad happens, like I thought I could handle that.
Yeah.
And my first interview was like in PR, and that's kind of what I was started to interview with. And then very quickly, within a month, I got the job at SNL, and I was an assistant. You know, by September 30th, right after I graduated from college, I was started at SNL.
Did you know, like, did you grow up watching it? Did you know, like, the gravity of it? Or you were just like, great, I got a job? Yeah.
No, I knew it was cool. I mean, like, I knew I was very clear.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Also, like, you know, in my generation, it was like, that was like what you did on Saturday nights. Like, you definitely, like, you know, there weren't really many options. So unless you were, like, at someone's house, or like even if you were at someone's house, like you watched SNL. And I discovered artists that way. I remember watching Britney Spears for the first time, like when I was in high school, and being like, who is this person? So I knew it was a big deal. I also knew that, like, what a thing to say to people. Like, you like just graduated college and you're like, I got a job at Saturday Night Live. Like, I didn't even know those job existed.
Right.
You know? And then all of a sudden I'm starting there.
Yeah. And then what was the path up? Like,
I mean, honestly, it was a lot of, I just became someone who like worked really, really hard. I got into my department. I was in the talent department, and that department was full of a lot of people who had been there for quite a while. And they didn't necessarily have a lot of young people in that department who were like willing to put in the like 20-hour days, or who didn't want to anymore. They'd kind of been there long enough. And so I was like, yeah,
send
me upstate and I'll get there at 6 a.m.
I'll do it.
Absolutely. First one in, last one out. I just was like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. You know, my parents always taught me there's no substitute for hard work. And so that's what I did. And then slowly kind of worked my way up. And I had a knack for being around talent. And I don't, you know, that's something you learn. It's not like someone's like, okay, now you're going to meet Matt Damon and here's what you're going to say and here's what you're going to do. You just kind of like, I think I take it back to like my Buffalo roots of just like, I just was like, my parents, it was a very grounded place to grow up. And I just kind of very quickly was like, oh, these people are just people.
Yeah.
They are famous and they have a lot of more power and money than I do. But like at the end of the day, they're just trying to be happy just like we are. And so I think I had a knack for being around talent and making them feel comfortable.
Seeing like hyper famous people up close all the time, did it change the way you think about what you want for your own success?
Well, it definitely like you get to really see what fame can be like, you know, not necessarily through myself, but through the eyes of people that you're close to. And you're like, it can be hard. It can be really, people think they own you. They can judge you and tell you how, they can tell you nice things, but they can also tell you terrible things. They feel this permission that they have access to you in a way that you and I don't have to deal with. Yeah. And so I think it made me realize that like, yes, there are beautiful things that happen when you have that kind of level of success. But there are also really hard things that the average person can't really understand. And I remember thinking like, oh, this might not be all it's cracked up to be. You know, yes, you're put on a pedestal and everyone wants to be around you, but like, it can also be really lonely because you're like, who do you trust? You know, I've seen a lot of people of notable people who get burned by people that are close to them. And that's a really heartbreaking process. Think about it. Think about someone who burned you in your life. And then think about it like being on the public stage. So I got to kind of see that when I was young and learn that, yes, very cool things, but also like, you know, complicated.
Right. And like wondering if the relationships in your life, I almost wonder if you felt this being at SNL and having so much, let's just call it street cred for your job. Were you also curious about like the relationships in your life and wondering if it was real or if people just wanted access to your level? Like,
I mean, I think, like listen, the biggest thing that lets you realize that is when you leave the place, right? When I left SNL and the people who like don't, you know, aren't so interested in calling me or not, you know, like don't respond as quickly. Like you kind of be like, okay, like, and the way I look at that is that's just data, you know, like, and my job is to receive that, you know, like I could feel hurt, I could feel upset, I could feel disappointed, but like my job is to be like, okay, that just tells me less about me and more about them. But you know, like I have a good gut, you know? And so I can be around a lot of people, but I also know when to keep an arm's length from people who maybe aren't in my life for the right reasons. And I can work with them and I can have fun with them, but I can really like my trust bubble, like, you know, I would not put them in that.
So you started Women Working Fucking Hard, which I love.
Thank you.
Was there, before we get into what it is, was there a moment in your career that you can pinpoint where you were like, this work needs to happen?
You know, there wasn't like this like epiphany moment, like being driven by like, oh, you know, men versus women. It really wasn't, that wasn't the thing. I mean, I remember thinking, if you want to like shape how something is run, you have to build it. Like, you know, Lorne Michaels made SNL. I could go in there and I can manage it and I can do all the things I want as a leader, but it's not my show. And so I can't, and if I want to really be the person who's directing everything, then I got to make my own show. Yeah. And so I remember thinking like, oh, if I make something, I get to decide how it runs. And that was something that I got with Women Work Hard. But really the epiphany moment was, it was more small and more specific, where I had a friend, I've told this story a million times, but I had a friend who was a single mom trying to grow her own business. And she was kind of, you know, with me trying to tell me all the like struggles she was having. And I was like, girl, I know a million people who could use you. And I was like, I want to introduce you to them. So I called my best friend, Kristen, and I was like, let's throw a party. Let's invite 50 interesting women who like love helping women. Some people, maybe we don't even know them yet, people that we'd want to meet. And then let's call it Women Work Fucking Hard, and let's invite Lily, the woman we were talking about. And I was like, let's have her meet everybody and see what happens. It was meant to be one night. Yeah. But it was so it was such a special vibe in the room, and there was something really magical, and everyone kept being like, well, when are we getting together again? And we're like, oh, I guess people crave this.
Yeah.
And that's what we've found. It's been now 8 years. People crave it, you know? And when we go to especially when we go to smaller cities, when we leave New York or LA and we go to like Chicago, it's like people show up because they're just like, they just aren't, there's not that kind of vibe and intentional, like, how can we help each other, as opposed to being like, here, who can you meet and how are they going to help you?
Right.
It's like, no, how can you help them?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, I really think about trying to, I mean, you can't do it always, but like really thinking about like, what am I buying? Who am I buying from? That's a great way to support women founders, right? It's just like, buy from them.
What is the model community events for Women Work Hard? Yeah,
it's mostly we do a lot of events. We've done some online stuff. We do a lot of collaborations with other, you know, some nonprofits, some other businesses that like who we've raised some money for women founders. It's really my partner and I, you know, and it's just a sliver of what we do in our lives. So so we get to decide what we want to do, and so really it's about, we find people we want to work with and we work with them. And so there's a nonprofit called Repurpose. We met the founder 2 or 3 years ago, and we've now done 3 events with them because we like love what they stand for, and we love working with them. But it's nice when you're tiny and small. You get to make your own decisions, and nobody else gets to weigh in. You're just like, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. So how do you shape your identity as you evolve into all these different like projects and things that you participate in? Was it hard to do that when something like SNL is so like what people see you as, to then go do something else?
Totally. I mean, I think for any person leaving a job of a long time, I don't care where, it doesn't have to be SNL, it could be anywhere. It's a really hard thing. Your identity is so wrapped up in a way that's unhealthy probably, right? Like our jobs are so much part of like, become our personalities and what people know us for and our brand. And so I think it's incredibly scary. And, you know, having a job where everyone always told me it was like the coolest job I could possibly ever have. And then to be like, I'm leaving that. Tremendously, I always say wobbly. It was a very wobbly time for me because it was like, who am I? Like, who wants to be my friend? Who's going to call me back? Yeah. You know, like, SNL is also so specific. You know, it's like, there's no other SNL. And so it's like, my skill set, I was like, well, I can't go work at another SNL. Right. So like, what is it going to be? One. So I would say this about shaping my identity. I don't know if I've had this intentional thing of like, okay, well, the next 6 months are going to be this. It's like, I'm trusting my gut. I'm finding really great people to work with. I'm having a very open mind, which I think we can kind of hurt ourselves with sometimes, of just thinking so like in this box, it has to be this. And I'm like, you know, I could do anything. I mean, I really think that I could do anything.
And you do a lot of speaking now,
I do a ton of speaking. It's a huge part of my business. I started doing coaching, like things that I would have never guessed I'd be doing 5 years ago, I'm doing now. And not only is it a surprise, but it brings me so much joy. And I could not have ever envisioned it.
It was not on your bingo card.
It was not on there.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I just need a sports documentary. I've never,
which is so good, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've never done a documentary, and now I'm like, God, I'd love to do another one.
Yeah,
who knows? You know,
that opening scene when he was like, "I'm going to give you 2 different answers to the same question." I was like, I'm sat.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy.
Good.
Yeah, episode. Yeah, it was a great experience, and I'm, you know, by the way, talk about a change going from a show that is done in 6 days, start to finish 6 days, to then a show that I worked on for 3 years.
Yeah,
it's been 3 full years from the first shoot date.
What inspires you now? I mean, I'm sure you get bombarded with opportunities. How do you know, like, yes, I want to commit to this? I feel like sometimes I feel like there's a certain time period in your life where you're in your yes. You're just like, more exposure, more opportunity, yes. And then there becomes a time where that shifts. For me, it was becoming a mom, where it was like, that's no longer serving this life I want to live. I want to be more selective. How do you be selective now? Like, what do you look for?
I really think it's about, like, the energy of the people. Like, it's like, it who really is like
the project.
Who is the, you know, like I do this incredible coaching work at a hedge fund. I love the people I'm working with. Like I was there yesterday. I left, like I leave swinging my purse being like, oh my God, I'm having such impact with these incredible people. Again, not something I thought I'd be doing. I love it. Yeah. And so I think I'm like, it's like, paying attention to that like magnetic force, like who's drawing you someplace, and also who's not, you know, like that feeling where like there have been a few things in the past 3 years that I've said yes to that when I'm like, wait a second, like this isn't it. Like this doesn't feel good. I'm forcing, this feels forced. And so like, and then a couple of those things I unwound because I was like, these aren't my people, you know? And I think it's also like, listen, the beautiful thing about getting older is like you develop that gut. And like now I'm starting to develop it more and more. And listen, I'm still very open. I remember one of my, actually, Alex Rodriguez said to me, the summer that I left SNL, he said to me, we were having lunch, and this is like before we had started the documentary, but we were kind of starting to talk about it. And he's like, he was kind of relating it to his own baseball career and like leaving the Yankees. And he was like, my advice is like, don't try and compete with a place like SNL. Like you spent 20 years at SNL. That was the most amazing job in the entire world. How cool. But if you go out and you're trying to like compare your next job and make it like better than that, like he's like, it can be better, or it could be different, but like don't put them next to each other. Right. Like build something new. And I thought that was such a great piece of advice because it's like we really kill so many things in our lives by comparison, right? 100%. Looking at the person next to you or at Instagram or whatever it is, and so I'm building something new. And I have to tell you, like, the cool thing to do is be like, I'm like, this is all the things I'm doing, and it's going here and there and there. And I'm like very honest. I'm like, it's so exciting. I love it. Who knows where it could be in 5 years? And not in a scary way. Like, it's like, who knows where it could be in 5 years? It could be anything.
Like, what did making it, like the first time you got to New York after you graduated college, what was making it and success defined like then? And then how is it defined now?
Oh my God, making it. I mean, I remember just like getting my first apartment. My fifth floor walk up, 400 square feet that was $2,000 a month. And I split it with a roommate. That was it. I mean, when I got a couch, I remember getting a couch and be like, I own a couch, like,
and it folds out into a bed.
Yeah. No, by the way, and I did the love seat because I couldn't get a full size couch. Making it. I mean, gosh, what it meant in my 20s was probably about like, access to cool people and doing cool things that I'd never had experiences of, and like working my way up the ladder. Like I remember always thinking like I want to be a manager someday. Like those were important things to me. Salary, making it now. It's a mindset to me. It's like, and by the way, that's a beautiful thing to say. Like to be able to have that be it, but like it's less about like what people quote unquote like view as success and being like, I don't know, like, am I happy? Am I enjoying myself? Am I around people I like? I'm less concerned about what's cool and what other people think. I'm more concerned about like, kind of like, this is the one life, and like, are you liking it? Yeah. Are you laughing? Yeah. Are you like, am I having time with listen, the other thing I've learned is like compensation comes in more than just money. Listen, we need to eat, we need shelter. We need clothes. Right. But beyond that, it's like compensation is not just financial. It's like the ability to choose, the ability to say no, the ability to make your own schedule, the ability to like, my Decembers, like I'm a holiday nut. Like I kind of can build my schedule for December now where I can like really like be around for my daughter and my family, which I never got that opportunity when I was at SNL. I was working till like the 21st or 22nd and then trying to like wrap presents and like not enjoying any of it. And now I like can build my life so I can find more joy.
Yeah. There was, I can't remember who it was, but someone I was listening to who is some celebrity, and they were asking like, what was it like when you first started to make like good money, like real, like good money? And she goes, I remember being able to go to the grocery store and not having to look at like the price of things and being like, I want the avocados, or like, I'm going to get the steak instead of like the ground turkey. And that was probably what she said was like the biggest shift for her. And then after that, there was not these like incremental betterments the more she made. Obviously, like grant me that problem to where I have to decide like what, how much money is enough. But it was interesting where it's like, actually, you know, after like I sold my first company and like have been building this life, it's what money buys you in terms of time and flexibility that has been more felt than like any of the, I don't know, some of the material things that come with it.
We build goalposts for ourselves and then we move them.
And then you move them.
Right? Like the apartment I live in now, like I'm like, oh my God, my little apartment. And it's like, I would have done anything to have this apartment when I was 25 years old. My mind would have been blown if you told me 20 years later I'd be in this apartment.
Or that someone is like paying you to come tell your story on a stage.
Well, that I have to tell you. I am so present in like, especially with speaking. Like when I go on stage, it is such an honor that I get to do it. And like if if you compare it to my old life, it's like maybe it's not as cool for other people. For me, I sit there, I listen to them announce me. Like I live in the introduction, I'm like, they're speaking of me. You get to go do, even if it takes me 17 hours to get places, which sometimes it really does with the airplanes, how they are. And I'm just like, how lucky are you? Like, and I sit in that gratitude because it's like, I get paid to go on stage and talk to an audience and like, hopefully help them get a little bit better. And it's like, how cool is that?
It is. It's a wild, wild opportunity that anytime it becomes like just like another day at the office going to I'm like, then it's a no. And
it's a shame.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have to like, again, but that's the work. Like I could have easily 10 years ago, just sat through it. Yeah. I'm actually right now I have so many things going on in my life that I am underwater. Like I said to my family today, like I feel underwater, but I am so aware that all the things that are happening are such great things that like, I can't put my head down and wish it away. Like I have to be like, I might be stressed. It's all going to work out. Like how lucky am I? And like, don't miss the cool moments because you're just trying to get through it.
I think about that with parenting. I don't know if you felt like that becoming a parent. Like my kids are 1 and 2 right now. They're very little. We're in it. And I catch myself. I really try to catch myself in the moments where I'm like, oh my God, like just like my daughter would potty train. I'm like, just pee in the fucking potty. Like, come on.
God.
Like I can't wait till you can just pee. Or like, when like my son like sleeping through the night and I find myself like these go by so fast and if I'm like sitting here wanting to skip to the good part, then I'm actively missing the good part.
I completely agree. I will say there are some times you just have like it's also okay to be like,
this sucks.
Be in the fucking potty. Like it's okay to be like, go to sleep. I'm tired. Like we can't always be in like receiving the joy. It's not possible. But like I mean, my daughter's now 12 and a half, and so I'm at that point where like the problems change. They grow. They're like more complicated. But like man, I get to like we like dance in the car together, and it's like it's just the greatest.
What's your opinion about like the women having it all? Like just you have done so much in your career. You're a mom. Like what's that tug of war been like for you? Have you felt that?
I feel it every day.
Yeah.
I feel it every single day. I hold myself to a very high standard. I've gotten better at giving myself grace. I'm a glass half full person, so I believe that like I am getting to have a lot of great things. Like and they're not all at the same time and they're not always perfect and sometimes I'm going to have a really bad month or things that make me anxious or whatever, but like I believe that I am creating a life that is fulfilling and big big in not in what people think, like big for me.
Yeah.
And it's like I think having it all is just like, well, what does that mean? It's like fulfillment, love, health.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm old enough to know that your health is not something you can take for granted anymore. Like you got to like really, take care of it. So like I believe that I am finding pieces of it all.
Yeah.
And I think that's good enough for me.
When you think about raising your daughter, are there things that you want her to either like learn from your mistakes or learn from things that you did well? Like what are, as a mom who's raising a young girl as well, what are some things that you're wanting to instill in your daughter from your experience?
One of my favorite books that I read, when Maddie was in kindergarten was The Curse of the Good Girl.
Ooh,
and it's
love the title.
It's a great book for parents of girls. And one of the things that Rachel, the author, talks about is normalizing feelings that are not positive. Like normalizing like disappointment and failure and embarrassment and shame. And so I've been really good since kindergarten about making sure I normalize. Like I'll be like, I bombed today, girl.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, I really, she'll be like, I failed a test. I'm like, I bombed on stage,
Yeah.
Like really making sure that she knows that like mom's just not always okay. Like it's just part of, it's not always just up and to the right.
That's a really good one.
It's such a good one, and I really stand by it. I think like the other day, my daughter and I were laughing because my man is the first relationship in my life where he says to me like, "How can I best support you?" And I remember being like, when he said it, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Are we in therapy?
Hold on
What's
one
going
second.
on?
Like,
Yeah,
what do you mean? Like, this is so, like, it was so smart.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing of like, do you want me to listen? Do you want advice?
Yes.
Do you want to just bitch? Like, what is
Yeah.
it? And so that's something that I say now a lot is like, how can I support you? How can I best support you? And my daughter told me the other day that she's 12, and someone was going through something, and Maddie said to her friend like, hey, how can I best support you? And her friend was like, what do you mean? And Maddie's like, I mean, nothing. Like, it's cool. I'm 12.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like,
that is
oh my God, what a victory.
great. Yeah.
Having your 12-year-old say that to her friends. And like her friend thinks it's weird now, but guess what? In 10 years, your friends are going to really love that.
What's it been like for you to be in a relationship with someone who can catch you like that? I think a theme on this podcast has been like really ambitious women, but also finding partners that help them soften or relax like in those like times, which is kind of hard to learn, or like turn your volume down sometimes when you're like, no, I have to keep going. So what has that been like for someone to be like, here, I got you, like, what do you need?
Oh my God, it's the greatest gift in the entire world. I mean, I feel like I should come back and do a whole podcast on that, because it's like, and the growth of being like, oh, I think I for so long thought that, relationships could either be like, if they were supportive, they're probably gonna be boring, or like if they were exciting, then they were like awful. They were like so up and down. And it's like I have a partner who's just like, he's all of these incredible things, but he he lets me be messy when I'm messy. And I say, like, if I feel like I'm drowning, he builds me a boat. And like, it's been such a gift. He's also he's so curious. Yes. He's like we both have like such curious brains, and it's so nice to find a partner who like really, like, the two of us, we could ask each other questions forever. And so, it's just, he's the person I needed, especially in my step of leaving SNL. Like I needed him.
Yeah.
Like the universe gave me him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I could not have gotten through that time without, I couldn't have done it with like an up and down relationship. I needed that like steadiness.
That steadiness, yeah.
But steadiness, I thought it had to be boring, but it's like, it can be fantastic.
It can be
and
exciting
and sexy and, all these other things. You got to find the right person.
Yeah, it is so interesting. Like I always thought before I met my husband that I was gonna be with someone just like me, like an entrepreneur who's like super ambitious. Yeah. And I dated some of those guys, and it was like a competition, like who can brush their teeth better than the other person. I was like, God, I hate this. Like this is like, or like, what'd you do today? No, I did more today.
Oh my God,
what did you do today?
I can't even imagine that.
It was awful. And so I didn't realize like until I really met Jake, like how much I actually needed someone not like me. Yeah. And who could help me have fun and like soften in areas. And I always thought that someone had to be in this like kind of self-made thing to get it. And I'm like, he can get it without doing it. And it's really, it helps me. I don't think like everyone needs to be in a relationship, but I think for me, it was like, oh, I feel like I'm able to leap and take some risks because you have that steady part that you're not figuring out.
How long have you been married?
Almost 10 years. Wow. Fantastic. Yeah.
I want to point out, like, I'm also 45. And so like, I want to give space for the fact that like I have been through many relationships and I was married before to a wonderful man, but not necessarily the person I was supposed to be married to. He was a great dad. Yeah. And, you know, but it took me a long time. I had to also become this version of myself to then be right for my partner. You know, like I've evolved, he's evolved, and like we met each other at the right times. We talk about that a lot. We're like, would we have been together if we had met when we were 25? Yes. And I don't think we would have.
For some of our younger listeners who are maybe single women or just like trying to build their career, maybe like tirelessly swiping dating apps, what's some of the advice that you have taken like on your journey of dating and that maybe they can learn from?
This I have not gotten. This is not from my dating life. This is like recently, which is, I said it already. Receive the motherfucking data. Like about friendships too. Like, I just wish I could go back and be like, receive it. What is it you are being given all the information you need about this person. You are making it. I would always be like, oh, it's my fault, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm waiting to be. This idea of waiting to be chosen, so antiquated, and makes me so angry when I think back to myself. That version of me. But it's like, receive the data. Like, the people that are meant to be in your lives are going to show up. Yes. They're not going to bail on you. They're not going to say they're going to call and not call. Like, that gives you information. We don't want to receive it because it's like, we have to like feel it. Yeah. And it's like, just they're putting it out there.
I'm calling it, your next book is going to be called Receive the Motherfucking Data.
Receive the motherfucking data, girl.
Available where books are sold. I love that because that is like, I mean, relationships, but like business,
everything,
life, like
everything.
And it just also makes you the scientist and not like an active participant whose ego and identity is involved. It's like, I'm just going to take a step back. And like, if my friend was telling me that this guy didn't call or that this business has been in the negative for 6 months, like, I would have a different, like, this would be my opinion on that.
I want to say this, though. Something you have to put next to it is that you also have to look at yourself, right? Yeah. You also have to, like, you have to look in the mirror, and you have to do a lot of, you have to accept the things that you're not good at. Yeah. Right? And you have to receive that data. And a lot of us don't do that. And I feel like my evolution as a human has really been in the past 10 to 13 years of my life. And I didn't do it before. I didn't do the like, oh, what's my thing? And like, I could sit here and tell you the things that I am actively working on to be better because I finally like looked in the mirror and was like, oh yeah, those aren't your strong suits.
Yes.
Get better. Yeah. You want to be better? Get better.
Yeah. Yeah. With Women Working Fucking Hard, you have access to a lot of data around women. You see it. What do you think in this season that we're all in that women need most from each other right now?
I mean, saying your name in the room, not having sharp elbows. Like, I believe in like goodness out, goodness back. And like, if you do it, I swear, if you like make the practice of trying to help other women, it comes back to you. Like, it will come back to you. Like, I'm sorry, like, let's do an experiment. Like, I'm like, call me. And like, well, but I really believe, like, it has shown up in my life. Like, when I go out there and I am not thinking of myself and I'm thinking of others and how I can help others, how I can help get them business or help get them supporters or followers or whatever, help them build their website, whatever the thing is. I don't build websites, but I can look at them and tell them if they're good.
And tell them exactly.
But like, it comes back.
Yes,
you know,
totally.
And people send referrals your way or new friends or business or whatever. And so if you change the way, we always say at Women Work Hard, like, instead of going into a room and thinking like, who in this room is going to help me? It's like, think about how you're going to help.
And all of those things that you listed, from like referrals to like introductions, is social capital and opportunity, not advice. And I think that is like what women need from each other. I took these like stand-up comedy classes, like literally to help me like get out of my postpartum depression when I had my first. But and it was always something that was like itching in the back of my mind. And one of like the like bits that I put into my stand-up set was around like how annoying it is that men always want to mentor you, but they're not like, you know, lining up introductions or paying you more, but they think mentorship is like so valuable. And I'm like, you know, we don't need more mentorship, like make the introduction. And I was like doing this set at this like vineyard, you know, with like 20 people. Or something.
The comedy, the comedy club in the vineyard.
Yeah. And realized it was like also not my audience. So I learned like what it felt like to crash and burn. But my husband was there and he saw this like man turn to his wife. He's like, I don't understand what's wrong with like mentorship. And she was like, oh my God, like just, this is exactly like what's wrong. And a lot of people might be listening, like what's wrong with mentorship? But nothing.
Great.
But I think it's like the baseline and what women need. I mean, and look at the data, like less than 2% of venture capital funding goes to women. There's just like, we're still 80 cents to the dollar. Looking at the data, it's not the advice that is getting us to where we need to go. It is, let me introduce you to this person who books speakers. Let me
be active.
Be active. That's what it is. Yes.
Be an active participant. And also, I think another thing is like, we got to start having harder conversations and we got to be like, hey, can you introduce me to blankety blank? We can, this whole thing of like, I mean, I really talk about the curse of the good girl. Like I spent my whole life trying to be the good girl, you know? And it's like, sometimes you just got to say something that maybe might feel uncomfortable. Yeah. It's like, it's not easy.
And you don't get to be Lindsay fucking Shookus being the good girl.
No, but I have to tell you, like, every day nowadays, like I am doing things that are uncomfortable. Like, every day in my new life, I am pushing myself to do things that like, if it'd be so much easier if I didn't have to do it. It'd be so much easier if I could just be like, oh, never mind, who cares? And it's like, but like, that's how you build something. That's how you get better. That's how you want more. That's how you do it. You don't get more by being comfortable. And so it's like, I think, if we're going to put like women in a group all together, like we just have to be okay with being more uncomfortable. Yeah. And then also just like, it feels so good to get someone like to introduce, like I have so many new friends that have been introduced from other people. It's like, it feels good when you get someone business or you make someone else a new friendship or you get them to like, there's like some of these women founded brands that I support. It's like, how cool is it when you walk into someone's house and you see that they've bought the hand soap and you're like, yeah, that's cool. It feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. Last question for you is what do you tell to someone who's trying to navigate their next? And it's like, leaving SNL that, you could totally have that feeling of like, there will never be another, or maybe it's leaving a marriage, maybe it's leaving a job, maybe it's coming out of maternity leave. How do you, what advice would you have for someone that's like entering into a new chapter for themselves?
Well, I'd say this to them and probably to everybody, which is like, it's just not up and to the right. Like, it's like, when you think about your path, like if I look at the past 3 years post leaving SNL, like I think people, a bird's eye view, it would look like, oh yeah, I've kind of figured it out. And but that's not the daily reality. Like, right, you're going to have a great day and then a shitty day and then like 3 great days and then like you're going to think you're never going to work again. And then, or even divorce, post-divorce, same thing. I'm never going to find love again. All these things, like it's not a straight line. And so you have to be willing to like, again, be uncomfortable and trust that you're going to get through it. It's all temporary. So that's the mindset part. That's the part we can control. It doesn't mean every day you have to be like, I'm amazing and everything's going to be great. No, have your shitty days. I've had plenty of them. I still do have plenty of them. But like, we can't get to a better place expecting it to just be all easy and to be all perfect and to be like, oh, well, one thing's going to lead to the next. No, it's like, that's just not how it works. So give yourself room to have shitty days and to be worried. I would say like, this is like not, mind-blowing, but like the art of being good at putting yourself out there is like a really, it's just so worthwhile. And in that, I would say, if you become a great question asker, that's one of the things I talk about on stage a lot is like, are you a good question asker? You're a great question asker.
Oh, thank you.
But by the way, you can make so many more connections if you can invest in really becoming a great, curious mind with great questions. Yeah. It really helps your networking. It's a beautiful skill that a lot of people don't have. So I'd say like, no matter where you are, invest in that.
Ask better questions.
Just become good.
So you can gather the data. The motherfucking data. Yeah. Coming soon. Data. We'll do another episode when the book comes
please. Books only take like a day, right? I can just read it tomorrow. And
sure.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Where can people book you to speak? Where can they find you? Yeah.
I've got a website, LindsayShookus.com, and I have an agency, but my website's easiest.
Yeah, let's do that.
And yeah, find me on Instagram or my website.
You're the best. Thanks, Lindsay.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thanks for listening to Making It with Jess Ekstrom. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a review if you're enjoying it. See you next time.